The meeting will please come to order. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Wilmette. I now ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Sullivan.
Here.
Trustee Barrow.
Here.
Trustee Dodd.
Here.
Trustee Kurzman. I believe he's muted. Trustee Kurzman. Oh.
Well, he's here. I can see him, and he just made.
Trustee Kennedy.
Voice.
Here.
Trustee Plunkett.
Here.
And President Belinsky.
Here. So we're all here. We do have a quorum. I can see Trustee Kurzman says his screen is frozen. But he is here. So this meeting is being conducted remotely via the Microsoft Teams software. I'll ask Peter Skiles, our Director of Administrative Services, to explain some logistics to the members of the public who are joining us tonight.
Okay, thank you, President Belinsky. So everybody will have started the meeting tonight muted, and when President Belinsky calls for public comment, those joining us with the Teams client, you can toggle your mute status on the meeting toolbar by clicking on the microphone icon, and you can use that to both mute and unmute yourself. And those joining by audio conference dial-in, I think I see at least one in there, you press *6 on your phone to toggle your mute. And only attendees can unmute themselves. Nobody can unmute you for you. So you've got to figure out the unmuting in order to provide your comments. And in the unlikely event of technical difficulties, you can head over to the YouTube live stream that we're going to discuss here in a moment. Type your comments over there. I'll acknowledge receipt of your comment, and I'll read it back into the meeting here into the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Skiles. Would you reach out to Trustee Kurzman? I can read the introductory remarks that he's used to hearing, but we'll try and get him back in the meeting before we take any votes.
Got it.
Okay, for those watching this video in the future, the state of Illinois is currently under a gubernatorial disaster proclamation, which was issued by Governor Pritzker due to the coronavirus global pandemic. As a result, all in-person village governmental meetings have been canceled. However, the state amended the Open Meeting Act to permit electronic meetings of governmental bodies like the village board during a gubernatorial disaster proclamation. So we're conducting our business tonight in accordance with the provisions of state law. As usual, this meeting is being broadcast live on our local access cable channel 6 and on the internet on our YouTube channel. The URL for that is youtube.com/user/villageofwilmette/live. I'll read it one more time for those of you who are watching on channel 6. You can switch over and there's more interactivity there. Again, it's www.youtube.com/user/villageofwilmette/live, and there are no spaces or dashes or anything like that. Recording of the meeting will be archived on the village's YouTube site, as we do with all of our other televised public meetings. Now, a remote meeting obviously requires a different mechanic for public participation. So to ensure our residents, business owners, and other interested parties have the opportunity to participate in this meeting, we have solicited public comment prior to the start of the meeting via email. So if you sent an email to publiccomment@wilmette.com prior to the start of the meeting, your email has been provided to the board. It will be included in the minutes of the meeting, but it will not be read during the meeting. Members of the public who are watching the broadcast can participate during our designated public comment periods by submitting comments through the YouTube live chat feature. And if you do that, a member of the village staff will read your comment to the board. For those of you who have connected to the meeting via Microsoft Teams or via the telephone, at the appropriate time, I'll ask people to speak up if they would like to make a public comment. Because of the logistical difficulties of not being together in person, I will first just ask people to identify themselves as someone who would like to address the board. I will assemble a list, and then I will call on individuals person by person for their turn to speak. For people speaking during public comment, they will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board, just as they are during an in-person meeting. All comments from the public, regardless of how they are received, will be recorded into the meeting minutes as we typically do. Now, I'm about to mute everyone again. Where is that button? There it is. Okay, so everyone's been muted. Please remain muted until it is your turn to speak, so that we keep the background noise to a minimum. Now, before each meeting, the board receives a packet of agenda materials. These materials are also posted on wilmette.com on the Friday before our meeting, so that residents and other interested parties can review the very same materials that board members receive. This week's packet contained 236 pages. So the next item on the agenda is public comment. That's item 2. At an in-person meeting during public comment, individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address the board on a topic which is not on the agenda. However, as I said, this meeting is being conducted remotely. So public comments which were submitted by email in advance of the meeting have been provided to board members, are part of the public record, but will not be read during the meeting. So I'll now ask people who are watching on YouTube Live to submit their comments for the village staff to read. You can find the chat window to the right of the YouTube Live video window. And while they are typing, I will ask if there are any individuals who have connected to the meeting via Microsoft Teams or via the telephone who would like to address the board. I'll ask them to identify themselves now. And again, I just muted everyone, so you have to unmute yourself. And if you dialed in via the telephone, you might also have to hit *6 to unmute yourself. So I'll give people a moment to unmute themselves.
This is Mark Weiermiller. Am I unmuted? Mark Weiermiller here?
You are unmuted, Mr. Weiermiller. I will put you on the list.
And am I on camera or not on camera?
You are not on camera. Did you dial in under the name Wilmette Village Board?
I worked on it for about 20 minutes, so I'm unclear. I thought I would be on video. I'm not. I did not do the phone app. I'm doing the app that you
The Teams app.
the
Yeah,
Teams app.
so it on the screen right now, it has you as your name as Wilmette Village Board. But I can see your icon is flashing when you speak. So we'll come back to you in a moment. Let me see if there's anybody else who would like to address the board. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board during public comment? And again, you do have to unmute yourself. Mr. Weiermiller, it looks like you are the only one. So the floor is yours. You have your 3 minutes to address the board.
Okay, first of all, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry my photo is not up here. I don't understand the technology. So
I think we all know what you look like, though. You've been in front of us before.
I want to see me, and I want people to see me on channel 6, so I'm disappointed. But
Oh, you can post it on Instagram anyways. It's okay.
Okay, are you ready for my start?
I am ready. I've restarted the clock, given my comments with you.
Good evening, Wilmette Village Board. I am Mark Weiermiller, Wilmette resident for 21 years. I have 2 concerns tonight. First of all, I don't like that I have to make public comment not in person. I understand that you are following the guidance for safe meetings, yet it's safe to go to a grocery store, liquor store, airplane trip. You can even buy marijuana in person, yet you cannot attend a public meeting. You can also visit a local Wilmette resident and a Wilmette restaurant, and you can eat there. And I am unclear why I cannot attend a meeting in person, because obviously I want you guys to see me. I thought Darren Bailey had a lawsuit against this order that many people feel is illegal. So with that in mind, I do feel this is a violation of Open Meetings Act, not having a meeting where I can come in person. I understand you've made various accommodations, yet as we can see tonight, this is a huge fiasco trying to have a meeting on this app type of Zoom thing. I suggest you have open public meetings, perhaps with distancing and masks. Again, for me, it's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. I understand the governor is giving you permission to violate this act, but I would like to have open meetings the way we used to. Secondly, that's my first point. Second point, I came tonight with the idea that I'm proposing changing the Wilmette Village ordinance, extending packaged liquor sales from 10 p.m. till midnight. That's alcoholic beverages purchased at a liquor store to consume at home. I believe this affects 7 stores, 2 Jewels, 2 Walgreens, 4 others. I've informally interviewed a number of employees who said a lot of people come in between 10 and midnight and wish to purchase alcohol beverages to consume at home. If it's 10:15, I cannot buy a 6-pack of beer or a bottle of wine. I can go to Skokie, Glenview, Northfield, which all sell till midnight. So we might be losing huge amount of commerce because we have this 2-hour window that we won't sell. I feel we're losing the commerce. We want to shop local. I hear you guys all brag about shop local, but I don't feel we're servicing the community. Finishing up here, I propose immediate discussion, not get bogged down in the judicial committee, which I was told initially, which I'm not even sure if that ever meets. Again, I propose extending packaged liquor sales in Wilmette from 10 p.m. till midnight in Wilmette. Thank you. My name again is Mark Weiermiller, advocate for small business. Thank you for letting me speak. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Weiermiller. Good to hear your voice if we can't see your face, but nonetheless, good to hear your voice. As I stated in my email to you, the Judiciary Committee of the board is likely to have a meeting in the near term, and they will consider your suggestion. However, we're not the kind of board or body that does things, by the seat of our pants. So we're going to make sure we consider changes to the liquor licenses and the like carefully. With regards to your first comment about the illegality of this meeting, I just have to say you're 100% wrong about that. Maybe you need to revisit the new version of the Open Meeting Act. But Corporation Counsel, and if Mr. Stein is on the line, would you just confirm that indeed we are conducting our business tonight in 100% accordance with state law?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. President, that is correct. The Open Meetings Act has been amended specifically during an emergency declaration to allow for a meeting to be done remotely like this one is. That case was dismissed last December 2020. It is no longer a pending lawsuit, and the court has felt that the emergency orders are legal.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. So just for clarification, I appreciate your desire to meet in person. I'd love to meet in person soon as well, but what we are doing here is completely under state law. So at this point, Mr. Weiermuller was the only person live. Mr. Skiles, were there any comments from people via the YouTube live chat?
Yes, Mr. President, one other comment. Trent Weiermuller says, I support businesses being able to sell liquor until midnight because I support local businesses. Later sales will increase tax revenue and support local business.
Noted. Did you say the last name was Weiermuller?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to the consent agenda, which is item 3. As described on the agenda, items which are routine business that are not normally debated by the village board are placed on the consent agenda. So all items beginning with the number 3 are on the consent agenda tonight. Items 3.1 through 3.20 are on the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are up for approval tonight, and if an item is not removed by a member of the audience and is not removed by one of the trustees, it will item from the consent agenda. People who are watching on YouTube Live should type in their requests now. And if there are any individuals who have connected the meeting via Teams or via phone who would like to remove an item from the consent agenda, I'd ask them to identify themselves now. I'm getting some messages. Can people still hear me? Okay, I had a message up there that said I had poor Wi-Fi. I just wanted to make sure
it froze just for about a second in the middle of your comments, President Belinsky, but the essence of your message was still conveyed.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Skiles. So if you would like to remove an item from the consent agenda and you're on YouTube Live, please submit your request. If there's any individuals who have connected via Teams or the phone who would like to remove an item, please identify yourself now. Again, you'll have to unmute yourself. And if you dialed in via the telephone, you may have to hit *6 as well. Okay, hearing none. Mr. Skiles, were there any chats coming in regarding the consent agenda?
No comments or items to remove.
Okay, are there any items that any of the trustees would like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay, I'm getting a bunch of head nods. No. All right, may I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
That was Trustee Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Kennedy, thank you for that. Would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Barrow.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye. Aye.
Trustee Kurzman.
Aye.
Trustee Kennedy.
Aye.
Trustee Plunkett.
Aye.
And President Belinsky.
Aye, so the motion carries. The consent agenda has been adopted. If you are here for an item on the consent agenda, it was just approved, and I will clarify for those who are logged in tonight. Again, all items beginning with the number 3 have been approved, and that includes land use items 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6. If you were here for one of those items, it was just approved. There'll be no further discussion of those items or any of the other items on the consent agenda, so you're free to log off or hang up, but of course, more than welcome to watch the rest of the meeting. So moving on, the next item on the agenda is item 4, the report of officers, and our first report is from our village manager, Mr. Brayman.
Thank you, President Belinsky. I have 2 items tonight. The first is just a notice and reminder that our Central Avenue downtown reconstruction project is once again underway with the spring weather upon us. We encourage all of our residents to please continue to patronize our downtown businesses. They need your support, and they are all open during the construction. Secondly is my regular vaccine update and where we're at in Wilmette and in Cook County. Since our last board meeting, the village, in partnership with 12 other municipalities in our area in Cook County, held a successful vaccination clinic at New Trier West High School in Northfield, where we vaccinated 570 frontline essential workers, including firefighters, 911 dispatchers, police officers, snowplow drivers, and water treatment operators, as well as educators in New Trier Township. Due to limited vaccine supply, we were not able to hold a clinic last week, but we do have one scheduled for this Friday for another 500 doses, the bulk of which are going to educators in our area, and the remainder to those frontline municipal workers at water treatment facilities and in public works departments. We continue to work with Cook County to expand access of our efforts at New Trier to include senior citizens. And as we make progress on that front, we will be sure to keep the community apprised. And we're also working hard with Cook County to be on the front lines of utilizing paramedics to go to homebound residents who have accessibility issues and may not be able to make their way to appointments outside of their home. And we hope to have something to announce on that over the next couple of months. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Brayman, just for clarification, the Friday session is not open to the public. That is exclusively for teachers and municipal essential workers, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And it's our hope that at some point in the future that may change, but right now this is just for those groups of people.
Correct, and we are working closely with Cook County to allow us to expand to the public with a focus on senior citizens. We are not yet there yet, and I think that time will come as vaccine supply becomes more regular and increases throughout the region.
Thank you. We look forward to that. Next report is from our Corporation Counsel, Mr. Stein.
I have no report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Item 5 is the report of the Liquor Control Commissioner. There's no report tonight, so we'll move on to the items under item 6, starting with item 6.1, which is the Land Use Committee, and that is Trustee Barrow's committee.
All items are on the consent agenda.
The Finance Committee is chaired by Trustee Kennedy.
All items are on the consent agenda.
Trustee Dodd, the Administration Committee.
All items were listed on consent.
Municipal Services is Trustee Sullivan.
All items approved on consent.
And Public Safety is Trustee Kurzman.
No report.
And the Judiciary Committee is Trustee Plunkett.
All items were on consent.
Item 6.7 is reports from special committees. There are no reports tonight. Item 7 is new business. There's no additional new business to discuss. So we'll move on to item 8, which is adjournment. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Trustees.
Sure, that was Trustee Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Trustee Barrow. Would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adjourn?
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Barrow.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Kurzman.
Aye.
Trustee Kennedy.
Aye.
Trustee Plunkett.
Aye.
And President Belinsky.
Aye. So the motion carries. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.